welcome back. Today, we are diving into something I'm super excited about. We're unpacking the ultimate architectural blueprint for building intelligent AI agents right from the ground up. If you've been hearing all the buzz around AI agents lately and, wondering how they actually go from just a cool concept to a fully functioning digital worker, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to decode this whole process together today. We definitely have a lot of ground to cover, so we've structured this blueprint into 5 distinct phases. We'll kick things off with the AI agent advantage, then move into designing the foundation, equipping your agent, bringing it to life, and finally, we'll wrap up by looking at the real-world agent ecosystem.
All right, let's jump straight into part 1, the AI agent advantage, and how exactly they solve real-world problems.
Before we actually start building the house, we really need to know why we're pouring the concrete in the first place. The crucial question here is, why not just use standard out-of-the-box AI? We all have access to basic chat interfaces now, right? So what is the actual strategic advantage of investing your time to design, build, and deploy a custom intelligent agent? Well, it really boils down to a dynamic 4-step loop. Think about it. Agents don't just sit there passively waiting for you to type the perfect prompt. They actively find the right information. They understand it by adding all the necessary context. They answer by generating reliable outputs. And crucially, they act on it to actually automate workflows. It's really less like a simple calculator and much more like having a proactive intern. And honestly, what I absolutely love here is that you get all of this highly effective classification and regression capability without needing a massive, complicated training phase. You are basically bypassing the absolute hardest part of traditional machine learning. It's a total game changer. And this brings us to the magnificent 8-step blueprint from our source material. Now, I know it looks a bit complex at first glance with all these nodes and pathways, but don't worry. As we act as digital architects and break this schematic down together, you'll see it actually falls into some highly logical, bite-sized phases. Which leads us right into part 2, designing the foundation, where we'll cover steps 1 through 3. This first phase is all about laying that crucial groundwork and picking the right brain for your digital entity. Because, you wouldn't build a skyscraper without a floor plan, right? Let's see how this builds. First up, step 1, you define the purpose and scope. What's the specific use case? What are your hard constraints? Once you've nailed that down, step 2 is designing your system prompt. Now, this isn't just some basic command. This is literally the DNA of your agent. It establishes the persona, the goals, and those vital guardrails that keep the AI from going totally off track. Finally, in step 3, you select your foundational large language model, or LLM. Here, you're playing a bit of a balancing game. You're weighing the base model's cost against technical parameters like temperature, which dictates how creative or predictable the AI's responses are, and, of course, its context window. Now, if you're sitting there wondering what on earth a context window actually means during that LLM selection process, just think of it as the short-term memory limit of your agent's brain. If that window is too small, your agent will literally start forgetting the beginning of a complex conversation by the time it reaches the end. For really complex tasks, you absolutely need a model with a massive context window so it can hold all your instructions and data in its head at the exact same time. All right, moving on to part 3, equipping your agent. We'll be looking at steps 4 and 5 here. Okay, so right now, our agent has a brain, a persona, and a clear purpose. But it's kind of trapped in a box. In this phase, we need to give it hands to interact with the real world and a deep memory bank to learn from. Step 4 is where the magic really starts happening. This step gives your agent those hands by connecting it to APIs, custom functions, web apps, or MCP servers, which basically act as standardized plugs to connect AI to your local files. Your agent can finally reach out into the internet or your company's database to fetch data or actually trigger actions. But hands aren't quite enough, are they? You also need step 5, memory systems. To make an agent truly intelligent over time, you equip it with long-term memory. This could be standard SQL databases, simple file storage, or episodic memory so it can actually remember its past conversations with the user. A critical term you're going to hear constantly when talking about AI memory is a vector database. This is essentially a superpower memory system. Instead of those rigid, old-school rows and columns, it stores unstructured data. We're talking massive PDF manuals, entire websites, or even years of customer chat logs. It organizes all of this so your agent can instantly search and retrieve exactly what it needs as working memory to solve a specific problem in real time. It's incredibly powerful stuff. That brings us to part 4, bringing it to life, covering steps 6 through 8. We've got all the core parts laid out on our workbench, so now it's time for the assembly line. This is where we wire up the nervous system, put a face on our creation, and make absolutely sure it works. Step 6 is the orchestration phase. Think of this as the nervous system. You're setting up the triggers, the message queues, the workflows, and crucially, the error handling, because you definitely don't want your agent to just crash the second it hits a roadblock. Then, step 7 is the fun part, building the user interface. How are humans actually going to interact with this thing? It could be a super sleek web app, a simple API endpoint, or maybe just a friendly bot living right in your company's Slack channel. Finally, step 8 is testing and evals. Before deploying anything, you have to rigorously test for latency and quality metrics. An agent that gives perfect answers but takes 5 entire minutes to reply? Yeah, that's just as broken as an agent that gives instant wrong answers. You test, you iterate, and you improve. I really want to highlight something absolutely fascinating within that orchestration step. You can actually set up agent-to-agent workflows. It is so cool to see this laid out. It's quite literally like building your own digital corporate team where the AIs delegate tasks to one another. Instead of one massive clumsy AI trying to just do everything at once, you have multiple highly specialized AI models communicating and collaborating to accomplish incredibly complex goals. How wild is that? And finally, we arrive at part 5. The agent ecosystem and the real-world tools. Let's step out of the theoretical architecture for a minute and look at the actual, tangible tools on the market that you can use right now today to build this. The ecosystem is just exploding, and there is genuinely a tool for every single skill level. In the consumer space, you've got your cloud-based heavyweights like ChatGPT running on GPT 5.5 and Claude 4.7, which is absolutely fantastic for research thanks to its massive 200K context window. But then look over at the coding tools. For developers, you have massive agentic integrated development environments, or IDEs, like Cursor and Windsurf. Guys, these aren't just simple autocomplete tools. They are full-blown agents that actually understand your entire code base and can write, edit, and debug across multiple files completely autonomously. But hey, what if you aren't a programmer? Well, if you want to build custom workflows without writing a single line of code, you can dive into no-code builders like Lindy or Relay.app. These let you use everyday natural language to create immediate business automations, complete with thousands of app integrations and human-in-the-loop approvals. On the flip side, if you're an enterprise developer looking to build those complex, multi-agent autonomous teams we just talked about, you'd probably reach for robust development frameworks like LangGraph or Crew AI. The barrier to entry has completely vanished. Whether you're a non-technical manager or a senior software engineer, the tools to build your agent exist right now. Ultimately, when you strip away all the fancy APIs, the vector databases, and those complicated orchestration maps, this entire architectural blueprint boils down to a single, powerful promise from our source material: better context, better answers, better decisions. By giving AI the right parameters, the right tools, and the right memory, you aren't just getting a slightly faster chatbot. You are getting a highly reliable decision-making engine. So here we are. You have the blueprint. You know the exact 8 steps to design, equip, and bring an intelligent agent to life. And you've seen the massive ecosystem of tools just waiting to be utilized. The only question left to ask yourself is, what real-world problem are you going to build an agent to solve today? Get out there and start building. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.